Here we go. What's going on? Welcome. First of all, thank you so very much for coming back and hanging out. We're back. We're back live. I see you guys are worried about my cat, Louie, who took care of him. Grandpa took care of him, and our cousins who didn't go with they took care of him. So yeah, he's okay. Actually, it's a bit of a bachelor pad around here today because my family went to Florida, where I'll be joining them at the end of the week. And yeah, it's like they were home for 2 nights, and then they're gone for another 8 days. Yeah, what are you gonna do? It's crazy. That's life, and it's an expensive month of travel for my family here in June. But I'm blessed. I've been waiting for this to see all of you people because it's you think you want the peace and quiet. I don't know how many of you are Depeche Mode fans. They sang about enjoying the silence. I don't enjoy the silence. I have tinnitus, so I always have this ringing in my ears. But I was eating lunch today, and all of a sudden I just realized how quiet and dead it was. And I thought, boy, if that's not ever a reason to stay on the straight and narrow, I don't know. Some of you I know are alone. As I say that, I'm like, I don't want to say if you're alone, but for somebody like me, I'll say that I'm not used to it. So it's a weird thing. But yeah, so we got my phone. Let me get it going here. There we go. I want to make sure I'm broadcasting to the world. But dude, the world's gone crazy since we've last talked, right? Look at all this stuff going on. My God. So, settling in, back in the saddle. It's like riding a bike. And hey, let me know. Can you hear? I got a fan running over here because it's just stupidly hot here. I know most of us are in a heat wave. And honestly, I didn't even leave my house today. Between last night and today, not that you care, but I've spent about 6 hours carpet cleaning because it's needed to be done. And we always have things going on and people running around. But now that it's just me and Louie here, he did his part. He feared for his life. He hid from the carpet cleaning machine we got. Good. I'm glad you can't hear the fan. Thanks. Because it's a lot more comfortable with it going. So I don't know who makes it. It's not a Dyson. Either way. Yeah. So where was I going with that? I don't know. I was tying into something there and then I distract myself. But anyway, the market's gone crazy. And the thing we do know is I was looking at the futures, which are down almost 0.5% on the S&P 500. But you know what? For those of us that are in the wealth accumulation phase, a down market is a godsend. Like that's what you want. You want markets to be low, right? Because we can get more bang for our buck over the decades that will be invested for. So, I hope this resolves quickly, but it's interesting as I was reading the news. I don't know if you guys have seen that where they use these 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs dropped by B2s. Both of those are made by Northrop Grumman, ticker NOC. So that's kind of interesting. You got a dividend stock tying into it. And I know it's why some people don't want to own those because death and destruction raining from above. Some people don't want to invest in companies like that. But, what are you going to do? It's necessary. And yeah, good. So let me see who's here as I just Mark. What's up, Mark and Matt? So there's a crisp salute for you guys. Thoughts on waste management, Matt saying it's not going to go anywhere, man. If that stock dropped a lot, I know Ari Gutman has been buying it. It always seems chronically overvalued. I wrote in the newsletter today about Costco that, yeah, if you guys, we spent a little more than I wanted. So I've been having to shift some things around and I'm pulling from our overflow taxable account. So that's one that after, I've explained it. We've maxed out the 401k, my Roth. We're contributing to my wife's Roth. That's a mouthful. We're doing that. 529 plans, emergency fund, travel fund. So we're saving for all this stuff. And then extra cash goes into this overflow account, which I've been using to learn and invest with. And that's where Nextstar is held. So yes, I know some people like say, don't ever sell stock. Well, it's an overflow account. So that's why we're pulling from there. And, as I said in the letter, I still think it's a great company, but it feels like investing in the number one, and of course the name just slipped, Dort Carriage Company, the number one horse and buggy manufacturer circa 1898. Very well run business, doing everything right, but technological shifts happen, and through no fault of their own, people just don't want what they're selling anymore. They don't want to buy what they're selling. And I seem to think it's very similar. In the newsletter, I shared thoughts that I've just been witnessing, and it just seems one more thing after the next that, linear television, broadcast, cable, I don't think it'll ever fully go away, but it's clearly in decline. And the joke I said was, I asked my daughters who are 17 and 16, I said, what do you think about broadcast television? And my 16-year-old said, what's broadcast? So I explained it. They said, yeah, we get our news and what's going on in the world from TikTok and YouTube. We don't have to understand it, but this is the future generation, and this is the way that they're consuming news. They're not getting it from sitting down like a lot of us that are older. I remember when the 5 o'clock news and the 10 o'clock news came on. If you wanted to know what was going on and be up to date, you were there in front of the television to watch the news. That's how you got what was going on in the world right now, but not the kids. They're never going to do that. So it's just a shifting industry. And hey, I think they're a great company, but they have record revenue, really high share buyback, very quickly growing dividend, but the stock price has pretty much been flat since the beginning of 2021. So the stock market is saying, yeah, we think it's a melting ice cube as well. So anyway, I guess that's my long way, Matt, of saying that Waste Management is going to be fine. They have, I don't know, kind of like a duopoly, I guess. And as I say that, I got to put my garbage out tomorrow morning, and our service provider is Groot, which is Service Connection. Waste Connections, WCN, I think. They're from Canada. They're a subsidiary. But yeah, so their Waste Management's going to be fine. And those are the companies that if there's a crazy market crash, those are the ones that you want to buy, you want to get. And I'm going to hopefully do that with Costco, because we enjoy using Costco. I look forward to going to Costco. Sometimes we drag the kids along, but what makes it bearable to them is the free samples. And I tell them, well, look, it's not free. We've already paid for that. So it's kind of like included with the membership. But there's a high likelihood that they'll become Costco members as well. But yeah, crypto, Eddie, crypto is down. I saw Bitcoin down again. And, you would have to be a little bit concerned and think, why does crypto drop when the broader market drops? So it almost feels like a sympathetic tech play, I guess, that it doesn't, if it's supposed to be digital gold, why doesn't crypto move in tandem with gold from what I've seen? And then, sorry, I didn't get to the live stream too last Sunday night. We had to get up ass early on Monday. We paid for a tour to go ride the Jacobite steam train. If you've ever seen Harry Potter, that is the steam-powered locomotive. They recreated it, the one we rode on, but it goes over something called the Glenfinnan Viaduct, which is that really cool scenic viaduct that it goes over. It's also in a Electric Callboy video. But yeah, we had to be to the muster point to get on the tour bus at 6 a.m. So we were getting up at 4:45 a.m. and I would have had to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like midnight-ish if I wanted to do kind of the same time here. And I was like, nah, I love you guys, but I'm not going to get like 3.5, 4 hours of sleep to go live. So yeah, we'll do some news. We'll get to that, which it was crazy. The bus drove, it was, oh my God, it was an all-day tour. We left at 6. We got back at 8:30 at night, just all day, went all the way across the continent. or the island. It's not a continent. What am I saying? The continent of the United Kingdom. Mark, you say the thing about investing. Those of you that are closer to retirement age, drop in the market doesn't bother you as long as the dividends keep coming in. Yeah, that's another thing too about trying to find the really quality, solid dividend companies, because you're going to be less freaked out. It's what's going to help you hold. It's one of the things that Stephen Bavaria talks about in the Income Factory book, is that when you build an income factory machine, AKA really high income stocks that just shoot lots of money at you and they don't really have much capital appreciation, but you take that income, reinvest it right into those and make those positions bigger, get more money. That's the snowball. But it helps you hold. When you have that money coming in, why would you sell? Then you're going to just be getting less income. So he thinks it's a way that will help people hold, but it's the same concept. And you're right. Really quality dividend companies, if you're buying it for their income and the quality of the company, if that stock price drops and it's down, as long as nothing fundamentally changed with the company, hey, whatever, it's a great time to buy more, hold, don't panic. So that's a great point. Ted, you got one of my favorite names. I'll cheers that. And I see you started a position in QSR. Isn't that Burger King and let's look. Let's check it out and see. Yeah, it was also interesting. I have a thought about what am I doing? Why does someday I'll fix that. So what do we got here going on? Oh, the stock market futures is what I'm showing, right? Yeah, there we go. So 0.37 or 0.40% down the S&P 500. Oddly enough, even the VIX is down. That's the fear gauge. So it could be a little bit of a mixed day unless something happens overnight. But you know what? Since I'm here, why don't we just do this? Because we missed some time. Some of you are in early, and we'll just run through the news real quick. We'll go back to, oh my God, there's a lot here. This is going to go real fast. So pause the video if you want to see any of this in depth or just the little blurb they have, because we're going to go 2 weeks here. So Park Hotels and Resorts got a dividend downgrade to 40 unsafe. Sad news. I saw that FedEx founder, Fred Smith, he died, 80 years old today. So condolences to him and his family. Well, to him, I guess. Yeah. I'm sure he didn't want to die, but FedEx raised their dividend 5.1%. That's their 23rd year of uninterrupted dividends. So they're down, almost undervalued, according to Simply Safe. They refreshed their outlook on TELUS, telecom service company, with an almost 8% yield. Another dividend downgrade for an office REIT from 50 to 40. Go figure. I'm not buying any office REITs. I hope you aren't too, because Realty Income, which raised their dividend 0.2%. Remember, they raise it every quarter. They've done that for a long time. They raise it a quarter. So this is one of those companies you're buying it for income. They even say it so much. Sumit Roy, their CEO, will tell you, yeah, if you're looking for capital appreciation, this might not be the right investment for you, because we're all about income and steadily growing but secure income. And that's the focus of Realty Income and why you own them. So that's one where if somebody ever says, oh, they've underperformed the S&P 500, well, that's not what they're built for. So that's their 131st increase since 1994. And I bought one more share, threw it in the hopper. So dividend safety score of 80. Kimberly-Clark, I didn't get a chance to read this one, but apparently they're exiting their tissue business in most international markets. But they say the dividend remains solid and they look like they're undervalued. Caterpillar, ticker CAT, raised that dividend 7.1%. And you see those cat machines everywhere. They are all over the world. Although I didn't see them. There wasn't that much road work going on in the UK. Why? I don't know. Not like here. Around Chicago, I swear to God, they do the same road every summer. They're just, you know, I know they don't, but that's what it feels like. UHT, Universal Health REIT, raised their dividend 0.7%, looking undervalued. A lot of these undervalued. Target raised that dividend 1.8%. Itty bitty teeny tiny dividend raise, but it's their dividend king. That's their 53rd year of growth. Schmuckers got a dividend downgrade or a safety score downgrade from 80 to 70. And what did they do? Lowered their earning guidance. Well, it's coming. A lot of companies do that. What's going to happen? Will we have that inevitable recession eventually? But who knows when? Capital Southwest. This is one of those income factory type stocks, has an almost 11% dividend yield. And they reaffirm their safety score of 50, borderline safe. So they're in that vein of Ares Capital, Pinnacle, Blue Owl, Main Street Capital, those. National Fuel Gas, 3.9%, another dividend king, I think. I don't know if they're in the S&P 500. So if they are an S&P 500 component, then they will be considered a dividend king. So I don't know who makes these rules up, but they've paid uninterrupted dividends for over 100 years, and they look overvalued. Yeah, the utilities might do well with the Iran closing the Straits of Hormuz. So we might see a pop in like ExxonMobil and some of the utility companies like Duke, ticker DUK. What do they do? Refresh their outlook on Duke. Couple more here. So it's a long one. WP Carey raised the dividend 1.1%. And I remember that now. They cut that dividend in 2023 because they shut a lot of their office properties, but they've raised it for 6 straight quarters. So there you go, WP Carey. Do you own WP Carey? Matthews, I remember them. I did a video a long time ago around Halloween where I was talking about spooky stocks or something like that. So I think they owned cemeteries. They have something to do with, I don't know if it'll say, talk about a conglomerate. So that business manufactured dry battery electrode equipment. Wait, I might have to click on them because here we go. Yeah. The firm's memorialization segment, which is 2/3 of stale, is caskets, cremation equipment, and cemetery products. Has stabilized after a stretch of weaker results, continues to provide reliable cash flow. So that they do a lot of things, but that's right. They do caskets and cremation equipment. What a fun topic that is to talk about, right? So they got a dividend downgrade to 40 unsafe, did Matthews International. Couple more here. Dividend downgrade to 90 safe, Brown-Forman. Brown-Forman, Bud, Anheuser-Busch. I think it's Anheuser-Busch, or is it TAP, Molson Coors? One of them's doing well. I think it's Molson Coors doing well. And then Diageo. Diageo just keeps falling. Diageo makes Guinness. I support them. They got a dividend downgrade, Brown-Forman, and they started in the 1870s. So they could be way undervalued. One real quick thing about Brown-Forman, you have BF.A and BF.B. From what I understand, the Brown family owns, I think, 70% plus of the A shares, which are the voting rights shares. So they're essentially control what happens when there's a vote with the company, the Brown family. But in order, if you want to participate, they created the B shares, I think is how you say it. And those don't have any voting rights. So those, I think, are a little more liquid because the A shares don't trade all that much because 70% of them are held by the Brown family and they're not selling. So with the A shares, I guess that realistically is like a float of 30% of the shares that might move around. So that's why they have BF.A and BF.B, and they kind of trade very similar. So apparently this one was for BF.B. Almost there. Wells Fargo got a dividend upgrade. Way to go, Wells Fargo, one of Warren Buffett or Berkshire Hathaway's companies. WPP Advertising Company got a dividend downgrade, and they look way undervalued. A couple more. I know I keep saying that, broken record, right? Unilever, they refreshed their outlook on Unilever. Oh my God. I thought this said the Netherlands migraine producer. I was like, that's not nice. Chevron reaffirmed their safety score of 90. Chevron, they could see a pop tomorrow. And I know some of you have been buying them and they look undervalued. So I think they might jump tomorrow. And then lastly is Ventas. Healthcare REIT is refresh their outlook on Ventas. So that's that. And then man, I think the whole thing here was just waste management. I wanted to give you looks reasonably valued toward the high end. So could be a good time to just bite the bullet and buy. Super solid company. And I'm sure they have very nice dividend growth, 21 years growth streak. They grow it quick. And let's see. Yeah, it's just, I know we don't even really have to look. Very rarely do they go on sale. Well, that free cash flow payout ratio is a little bit high, but earnings per share payout ratio has been dropping. So just nothing to worry about, Matt. I mean, they're, as I'm looking here just really quickly, love seeing the shares outstanding going down, sales just consistently going up and to the right. They took a bit of a hit there in 2020, which I don't know, maybe less companies were industrial facilities like I see all the time were using their garbage. So that might have been a little bit of the lower sales. Yeah, just great margins. Their debt's a little high though. Obviously, I think they can handle it. So not perfect, but a good company nonetheless. Yeesh. Dude, I love it seeing that. Yeah, man, that's an extreme value play, the horse and buggies, right? Oh, Ted. No, I came for Ted to show QSR. That's what that was. I wanted to see what they were. Ted, I'm sorry, man. You know what? Because you share a name with my dear departed grandfather, I'm going to, we'll just check that out real quick. What QSR? I know it's Burger King. I think the Habit Grill and what's the other chicken joint? Kentucky. No, KFC is Yum Brands, right? So there's restaurant. Interesting. Only a borderline safety score, looking undervalued. This is where we'll find it. There you go. Ah, that's right. Timmy Hortons, Popeyes, Louisiana Kitchen, and Firehouse Subs. No, the Habit Burger, the Habit Grill is owned by Yum Brands, which if you're just watching, Yum Brands was spun out. I think they used to be called like Tricon Global. They used to be owned by PepsiCo. PepsiCo spun them out, I think, as Tricon. They became Yum Brands, and that consists of Burger King, KFC, and Taco Bell. No, Pizza Hut. Yeah, Pizza Hut, right. Burger King, KFC, and Pizza Hut. And who owns Taco Bell then? Not Darden. Either way. So those three companies, fun fact, because they were spun out of PepsiCo, at that time, they have a lifelong contract to only be able to supply PepsiCo products or sell PepsiCo products in their restaurants. So you will never, ever see, from my understanding, anything other than a PepsiCo product in Burger King, KFC, and Pizza Hut. Or is it Taco Bell? I'm sorry. I got to look this up now. Yum Brands. You like that? I'm moving around like, oh, look at the valuation. Come on. Can't you guys read that? Looks reasonably valued too. Very similar to QSR. And they do. I was right. KFC, Taco Bell, and Pizza Hut. What did I say? Did I say Burger King again? Don't listen to me. Yeah. So there was in 1997, they were spun out of PepsiCo. But yeah, so those are those. And this is this. Now back with you guys. So hope you like that, Todd. Extreme value plays. I love it. That's interesting, Janice, because as I thought of it with my kids, the same. When's the last time I sat down to watch broadcast news? It's been a long time, and we're a cord cutter family too. BYD. I have not looked at them. I do remember reading, Mark, that they overtook Tesla, I think, as in terms of global EV sales. And that's one that Charlie Munger pushed Warren to buy. Warren was reluctant, but he listened to Charlie. I wonder if it's on. I don't even know if Simply Safe will have it. BYDD Boyd. Yeah, see, yeah, BYDDF, right? Simply Safe isn't showing that they pay a dividend, so I don't know, but oh no, they are. This is weird because it shows it's in the renminbi, the yuan, and I don't know how to translate that. I mean, I don't know what the conversion would be, but their free cash flow payout ratio has been creeping up. Earnings per share growing like wildfire. Total sales just growing like crazy, but yeah, I don't think they have any net debt. I'm sure they're fine, but I get a little hesitant about investing in foreign companies, especially Chinese companies. And I had experience with Neo back in the day. That was one that, yeah, a lot of Chinese electric cars. I don't know, that would make me a little bit concerned. Matt, yeah, I know you're from Janice. You're from Wisconsin, as we call it. Dan, dude, what's up, man? I don't disagree. I guess how could I say this? I wish I would have bought more Agree Realty. What did we say? Or what did I say? That they're like the younger, sexier brother to Realty Income that's got a bright future ahead of it and drives a faster car. That's kind of what it feels like to me, but I guess we're paying a premium now. The market woke up on Agree Realty, and I've been kind of waiting for, well, here, I'll show you what I did. Well, maybe not. It was with CEObuys.com. I saw that Joey Agree, when he started buying, then I started buying. Like, I waited for him to buy, and I thought that was a good time. A lot of people do something similar with Berkshire. They won't buy until they see Berkshire buying back shares, and they look at the range that they were buying back shares and say, okay, the insiders think that this is a good range. But like right now, from what I understand, Berkshire has not been buying any of their shares back. So same thing with Joey Agree. He hasn't been buying any of their stock. And, REITs don't buy traditionally their own shares back, right? Because the nature of the business, they issue more shares to purchase more real estate, grow the business, yada, yada, etc. But with a Berkshire and, sorry, I saw the Burger King, it threw me, but yeah, so I think that might be a good proxy of, kind of a good time to buy. Actually, I will show you that, Dan, which, by the way, I had the pleasure of talking to Joey Agree. That's one of the highlights of my YouTube. It's just incredible that the guy came on. He's always active on Seeking Alpha, one of the coolest CEOs. So, but we want them to do good, right? What was I showing you? Oh yeah, what I bought. All right, let's go here. I'll change this tab. Back to the futures. 500 is down almost 0.5% now, so we'll see what happens. But I don't know why this thing changed my settings. Here, CEO Buys. If you're just watching this, you've never been there. CEO-buys.com. They want you to pay money to have they will alert you every time a CEO immediately buys, because they'll show that a lot of times when a CEO buys, and this is with their own money. Again, when CEOs buy shares of their own companies with their own money, so it's not gifts, it's not stock options, grants, anything like that. So you can go either search individually or you can go to browse all buys, and it'll show you the latest ones. So I don't know if they'll ever put this behind a firewall, but they're There you go. What's right at the top? ADC. So this is where I started seeing it. And Joey was buying shares at 56, 57, 58, 58, 53 2 years ago. So 56, he bought even at 62, 65, and 66 2 years ago. I think that was the highest. 67. So, and this one is just silly. Like, don't you wish 10 years ago, Joey Agree was buying shares at $28.96. But anyway, for more recently, it looks to me like he thinks a good value is in the low 50s to mid 60s is kind of his spot where he's been buying. So that's kind of what I've been waiting for to see that. And I think I picked up like one or two around 70 because I was at 98, 99 shares. I wanted to get to 100. Oh, Tim Hortons, you got them Timbits. We went October. I was in a Timbits when we went to Frankenmuth, Michigan. They got a Timbits, a Tim Hortons there. They had Red Wing donuts. There was the Red Wings logo. Clever. Last time you ate at Firehouse Subs, you got sick. Same thing happened to your son. Well, I've never had Firehouse Subs, and Eddie, I'm going to take your word for it, and I'll just keep abstaining. I mean, it's a pretty, I don't want to break my streak. I've gone 47 years without ever eating a Firehouse Sub. That's a pretty damn impressive streak. So I want to keep that intact. Eddie, you're not going to catch me in that one. I mean, you got to start now. And then you got to hope that I don't need a Firehouse Sub. So somebody call Guinness. I've gone 47 years without. Now that analogy, that joke fell apart because I'm like, well, done, idiot. Anybody that's older than you got you beat. So yeah, what's up, Lisa? Thanks for that. And it's too many. I get them confused because you got Darden, which I think is Olive Garden. Then you have you have kind of the chains. That's more of like the sit down, right? What do they call it? Fast casual. Darden, QSR, Yum Brands, and there's one more I'm forgetting. Yeah, I can't remember it, but yeah, whatever I said, I know. Belay me. Belay my last. Funny, I was just thinking, I had a flashback when I was reading. By the way, that's something we said in the Navy. If you say something that was wrong, when you know it, you just say belay my last, meaning forget what I just said. I was too. So I guess Iran shared that map of things in their strike zone, and they showed bases. And the 5th Fleet Command Center base, the naval base at Bahrain, the capital city of Manama. I was there twice, and I have a few memories. It's few. I bought, this is dating myself, but I bought Local H is a band from Chicago. I bought their album 4 on the Floor at the Navy Exchange on base at Manama, Bahrain. So this was circa, I want to say June or July of 1998. So that's going back a few years for me there. But yeah, not a whole lot to do there. We pretty much stayed on base. And the thing that sucked about Manama is when we went there on base, drinking age is 21 because it's United States owned, right? So we used to love it when you'd go to places like Halifax, Nova Scotia. And fun fact, I don't think things have changed, but they would always remind us and say, hey, for those of you that are under 21, when you go out in town, the drinking age in Perth, Australia, in Hobart, Tasmania, in Victoria, British Columbia, in Jabal Ali in the United Arab Emirates, drinking age is 18. But back on the ship, this is still United States sovereign soil, so to speak. Drinking age is 21. So it was a gray area, but it was just saying, look, if you're going to drink and you're under 21, if you come back and you make problems, then you're going to get hit with underage drinking. So yeah, that's, I don't know. Fun fact. Yeah, Steve, we can look at ConAgra. And Salesforce, Mr. J, you think it's looking nice. I don't know too much about them. And then, how do you, Luke? I know you mean like, right? How do I like Kagra and ADM? Yeah, ADM I'm still a little unsure of because those financial shenanigans, you got to worry about that. And hopefully it's a one-off, but it just looks a little bit, right? There was a second hiccup they had. It's been quiet now. All right, we'll look at Conagra, and then for the heck of it, for you two guys, we'll look at what are we looking at? I don't know anymore. Yeah, I know I made myself small. Don't be small. Where am I at? Oh yeah, here we go. I'm confused. I'm blacking out. It's the heat. It's getting to me. Oh no, I wanted to go here to Simply Safe. All right. We want to look at Conagra. Conagra. First is 41, borderline safe. That's interesting for being a consumer staple. Have they not raised the dividend? Oh, they have a frozen dividend. Interesting. They were incorporated in 1919. Okay, so Conagra owns Healthy Choice, Hunt's, Bird's Eye, Slim Jim, and Pam. So it looks like the dividend is frozen. Wonder why. Where is it? I don't know anymore. It says 4-year growth streak, but they haven't raised it since July. Oh, July of 23. Yeah, that's 2 years coming up on. I don't know. Something's. Yeah, that's right. June 23. I don't know. It's a frozen dividend. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think if they don't raise it one more time, that breaks their streak. I don't remember how that works. So, but either way, looks undervalued. So it could be a good time to buy. Pretty high dividend yield. I don't know why they're so. Yeah, I mean, their payout ratios aren't awful. Free cash flow's been dropping a little bit. Right, sales growth, earnings per share growth are negative. That's a bugaboo. That's a little bit of hair on it. Yeah, total sales have flattened out, dropping a little. So I don't know. I guess those brands don't really grab me. A lot of the frozen stuff, the Bird's Eye and all that. I'm sure they own other things. Those are probably just the major ones, but yeah, low margins. I don't know. It just doesn't. I think there's better options out there, right? That's okay. Yeah, I don't know about that. It just doesn't excite me. You got to wonder, why is that dividend frozen? And a really low, almost unsafe on the dividend. That ADM 70 safe. So it looks reasonably valued. That's probably a little better because at least they're, yeah, I guess they're kind of like the picks and shovels behind our food, right? So they're not the final end producer to the consumer, but they're, I'm sure that ADM supplies some of Conagra's source. So yeah, and if you don't know, Archer Daniels Midland, the global leader in agricultural processing and human and animal nutrition. Yeah, and there you go. And that just says it all about ADM, is that they procure and process crops like corn, oilseeds, wheats, and then turn it into vegetable oil, protein meal, flour, corn sweeteners, and ethanol. Which I think some people have said ethanol is a dumb idea, right? Taking corn and turning it into fuel when people need that more than, I don't know. That's what I've read a long time ago. But anyway, there you go. So, and they're around the international markets too, but slowing down their dividend growth, 94 years uninterrupted. Let's see, did they grow? Yeah, they raised it. Well, we always say a penny, but it's actually 4 cents, just a penny a quarter. It went up. Yeah, I guess just talking it through like that, I think I would be much more interested. Oh my God, if that's right, I don't know why their free cash flow payout ratio last 12 months, 439%. But that's an aberration. I don't know what the why free cash flow per share went down to 46 cents. So I don't know if they made an acquisition. That's something you'd have to look into. It's obviously expected to recover. Sales growth negative. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd be a little more. Let's see what their debt looks like. They're still buying back shares consistently. But Archer Daniels sales have dropping off. Their margins are all compressing. Yeah, low margins. You'd like to see those a little bit higher. Yeah, low net debt. I'd feel much better. Wish their interest coverage ratio. If you don't know ICR, this right here, the interest coverage ratio, this tells us how many dollars of operating income, or EBIT, earnings before interest and taxes, does a company have to cover every $1 of interest on their debt. So where they show 8, that's Simply Safe's preference is above 8. That's just saying that they want wiggle room in case there's any kind of funky thing going on with the earnings before interest and taxes. If it drops, well, you got some wiggle room because you have to pay the interest on the debt. So you want a nicer coverage ratio. And when they were up there at 10.9, 10.5, that's $10.50 of operating income for every $1 to cover every $1 of interest on the debt easily. But getting down there around 2.22, that's kind of low. And I know Nextstar's low too. That's always bothered me, even though they say it's not a big deal. But I guess that's what they have to say. So yeah, that's there you go. Hope that makes sense. What's up, Doc? I'll drink a little bit of my cold tea now. Hey, good thing, you like hot tea and cold tea. Yeah, so I guess you call frozen foods are called recession food, but it's called depression food, cat food. So if we go into a depression, look for the cat food companies because that's who's gonna grow. Yeah, so Conagra is paying a dividend. I think I said it was frozen. When I mean frozen, they're not raising it, they're not lowering it. It's just steady at whatever it is. It hasn't been raised in a while. So that's what I meant by the dividend being frozen. Not like frozen, it's at 0. Whoa, dude, you're in the future, Adam, watching from China. What are you doing in China? It'd be crazy if he's like, I don't know. I just woke up and all of a sudden I'm in China. Yeah. So, yeah. What are you doing in China? Cat food costs more than people food, dude. You joke, but my wife buys some stuff for my cat, and there's times, and I tell her, I'm like, that almost looks like people food. Honestly, the smell of it, I haven't tasted it, but if I was hungry, sorry, Louie, but I'm gonna be eating your food. So yeah, I just woke up there. I don't know what you are plus whatever, but when I was in the UK, it was +6. So what a cool thing. How many of you have been to the UK? London, it was all right. Expensive as hell, as I put in that newsletter, because that what was on my mind. Every time I spent money, I would see £3.99. I was like, okay, what's the math here? Because for every £1, it's costing me $1.36 American. So I'm like trying to think the numbers, but like that meme with all the numbers swirling around. But we yeah, we spent a little bit more than I wanted to. My daughter's a massive Harry Potter fan, and I said I was going to put my foot down. No, you're not going to get that 65-pound Harry Potter sweater from the Harry Potter Experience store here in London. And then she's like, oh, it's okay. Maybe I'll come back to London another time and I can get it. Just completely working the old man, And then I walk away. I'm like, she's right. We're here and we're all going to be dead someday. And I don't know if I'll ever come back. I'm like, was like, all right, happy early Christmas gift. So, and she pulled that a few more times, but it's worth it, I guess. Great memories. Things like the Edinburgh Castle, what is one of the Harry Potter, like for Hogwarts, it's one of the inspirations, the castle up on the giant rock. Yeah, it, you can see pictures and like a lot of things in the world, ladies and gentlemen, you kind of got to be there to get that full in just amazing, like, wow, like people built that hundreds of years ago without any of our modern machinery. That is crazy. So, yeah, what are you seeing? You're going to see the Great Wall there in China? And how are tensions there? I mean, Adam, I don't know. Geopolitical events, there's so much new stuff to read, but I was seeing that other world powers that are more friendly toward Iran might support them. Yeah, oil equities. It looks like that's going to happen. I don't know if I don't know if we'd be able to force the Straits of Hormuz back open. I'm not an expert on it. You know, yeah, William, it was expensive, but again, you got to love my wife because she knows my problem I have with spending money because and I tell her I was like, okay, I'm gonna spend. It'll be no problem. We're gonna spend, and then it's just so hard because I'm every day, all day, I'm focused on how can I save, and she she basically says that without I don't want to name. There's people that are close to us that are. She says the opposite of me that they don't save and they're always looking forward to spending money because saving is painful to them. I'm the 180 opposite. Spending money is painful to me. Every time I have to spend $1, I'm like, it like physically hurts. But again, putting it in context, I know I'm kind of exaggerating there a little bit, but I'm not. And I've heard that people that spend 30, 40, 50 years being savers, they built up these massive hordes of saving money. And then you have that habit of saving. You find it incredibly difficult to spend money. And it's even harder because of all the years you've trained your brain to save. You just can't flip on that switch. And I worry that's what it would be like for me. And if you've read Bill Perkins's Die with Zero, that's kind of one of the things he says is it's sad. You're going to be a richer person in the graveyard. And all those dollars that you have at the end of your life that you haven't spent are all lost life experiences, things you could have done, things you could have done with people. You could have given that money to people. You could have used that in so many ways. And it's kind of, he says it's like a wasted opportunity, all that money you have. So yeah, it might not be as easy as he tries to paint it that you want to like slide into the grave on your last dollar. So you get into the grave with zero. But yeah, I know, Michael. I know. It's fine. And I'm going to be doing it. I don't know if we'll be live next Sunday. I'll bring the computer. I'll have to see where we're at. But my family is in Orlando right now. My niece still plays volleyball. My daughter quit, kind of broke my heart. And I don't really talk about it that much. They were in the same organization and they got split up. And apparently that my daughter that was the last thing keeping her hanging on, was playing with her cousin. And when they split that up, she lost all interest for volleyball. The kid's been playing for God, almost 10 years straight, sometimes with school and then travel leagues. And apparently she's burnt out about it. So anyway, they're all down there for the Orlando volleyball tournament, which you that follow know I was there last year. Yeah, last year and the year before that. So it's kind of, yeah, it's a little bit sad, but what are you going to do? She wants to live her own life. We gave her a break. She says she doesn't miss it at all. Not one bit. Doesn't miss volleyball. So anyway, my whole family's down in Florida for that. And after the tournament's done, then they're going to St. Pete, Tampa, which Jeremy Dividend stockpile is out in that area. So they're going to the condo that my wife's grandma has that we get to stay for free at. So that's nice. I like that. So I'm flying Thursday night into Tampa, and I'll be there Thursday night until Monday afternoon. I'm coming back Monday afternoon. So it's, of course, it's just been a stupidly expensive June for travel. And you know what? I'm spending some of my Nexstar money on that. But yeah, Janice, I think so. And this is important because I know that a lot of us, we love saving, we love investing, we want these dividends rolling in, and obviously the ultimate would be to have your dividend income pay for everything, right? But even then, it's such a habit of saving that I almost said their name. That person that's like me, though, they don't understand saving. They don't want to understand saving. So it's funny. We're polar opposites and giving it away. I'll be with them in Orlando next week. And it's funny when we go, like we'll go out and they're like, oh, let's go here to eat. Hey, steakhouse, steaks. We'll all just get steaks. And I'm like, like, well, I saw cat food on clearance over at the Piggly Wiggly or Kroger, down there. Like we'll put some hot sauce on it. So it's expired cat food on the clearance rack. Come on, it's 25 cents. Like that's for dinner, So yeah, we're kind of like the push and pull always, because they're just, like money is meant to be spent. Like as soon as you get it, you just spend it. Like save. Why would you save? You just work, just get more, just spend. And I'm like, too much spending. So, yeah. Adam, I asked you about China. They're supporters of Iran. You haven't noticed anything. It's funny you say not seeing it in the news, because when we were in London and then in Edinburgh, we didn't see. It's funny. Here in the United States, like we kind of think we're the center of the universe, the center of the world. And you go outside the US, especially in Europe, and people, it's just a passing thing, if even then. Yeah, you could walk around and buy a car. Yeah, same thing. Exactly. And we've really whittled down the Atlas we bought. We pulled from the overflow account, which I got a spreadsheet. And now the money that I'm pulling from, again, to pay for this trip. So it's just been a couple of big expenses in the last year that we've had, on top of some other things. We had to get our drain fixed for the house. So that was another one that wiped out our emergency fund. Money had just been trickling in there. For years, we've had drain tile issues, and we ended up getting it fixed the right way. Dude, it was like almost $5,000 to have that repair done. So just boom, I just pulled out from our emergency fund. So I've been slowly building that up. And, there's just been other things. Life happens. Kids have had expenses. Again, I have 2 teenage daughters. My wife still doesn't work, getting close to going back. I think she's dragging her feet a little bit, if you ask me. I know she's not watching this because she's at a volleyball thing, but yeah. But anyway, whatever. Hey, at the very least, she cooks, she cleans, she keeps, she does all this stuff around the house. So I guess that's kind of nice. But yeah, a couple more here. You get joy knowing you can pass money down. It's funny. Again, I don't know if you've ever read Die with Zero, but Bill Perkins says that it would be much better to spend that money or give that money to the people that you would want to give it to, the inheritance, while you're alive. Because A, you can make memories with them, and B, if you just give it to them, well, then you can watch them spend it. And that's a really interesting thing. In the book, he uses an anecdotal story of somebody whose dad was always gone, always working, sometimes 7 days a week. The dad missed baseball games, little league games. And the dad, would have to like move mountains to have a week off to go on vacation. And in that week, he would still be on the phone, not fully there. Dad amassed a healthy amount of money. I think he said that when the dad died, the kid got about $2 million. So the kid, I think, was in his 60s and the dad died in his 80s. kid was in his 60s, left $2 million and said, I would give it all back to have had a childhood with my dad, to have had my dad present in my life with me and not have had him just always gone and always working. So that was crazy interesting to me, and kind of a revelation to hear that somebody was like, I would give this $2 million back immediately, like without a second thought, because I basically, grew up without a dad because he was always working. So it just goes to show you then that what was the good of that? So you got $2 million, but you sacrificed, a life with your family and your kids because you're always gone. So yeah, if it's good to give it to them, pass it down. That's whatever. I don't know what's right, what's wrong, but oh, dude. Yeah. So first off, the car's working great. We'll have had it a year in October. No issues. I think we've taken it for an oil change. That's it. Like, it's been beautiful. The Acadia we have, like, I'm busy. Guys, it breaks down often. My wife is almost on a first name basis with the mechanic shop we know, and they'll give discounts and stuff. But yeah, it's for our kids, it's their car, but it's been great. Yes, I'm joking about wanting to get, put it this way. This person will think nothing of like a $60 steak at a restaurant. I was like, $60. I was kind of hoping to spend that on food for like the next 4 days, So to me, that's why I'm just being extreme, John. Yes, I'm not suggesting to people that we should eat clearance rack cat food from Kroger, but yeah, there's been times there's been times that I've made a point when we've gone to these places when I've been outruled and I won't eat anything. I won't eat anything, and I will just eat whatever my wife and kids don't, which is usually enough. And, I don't know. Is that good? Is it bad? Whatever. But that's yours truly making a bit of a stink, and they know it. They know it's coming. And, I get the evil eye from my wife when I'm like, I'm not hungry. like going on a hunger strike and protest. And everybody knows, like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, I had a granola bar 6 hours ago. I'm pretty full from that, and then we get back to where we're staying and I'm like eating food. But yeah, it happens. I don't know. Doc, yeah. You know what, man? Hey, 45, I'm 47. You know what, man? I'm sure you've lived a life and you got to start somewhere, right? But that's your choice. Is it wrong? I'm not saying it's wrong. Money in and of itself will not make you happy, but it gives you options. So that's what I say. Don't worry about it, you guys. The best time to start saving and investing was yesterday. The second best time is today. And that's awesome. There is a bit of a secret with the IRA. Oh, I thought you said Roth. Yeah, the IRA. I mean, you can take from it, but you got to pay the penalty. Yeah, you prefer steaks at home. I try to get these people. I'm like, let's just, let's just go to Kroger. I saw some nice steaks there, but all right, good, Adam. Where does the time go? This is nuts. Yeah, incredible markup on restaurant steak. Why you ask for some? That's funny. Yeah, Mark, Adam, exchange email addresses because. Oh, no, Adam has a YouTube channel. Just go on his channel. Start leaving comments on any video. If you comment on any video, I get an alert because somebody commented on a video I made 3+ years ago. Didn't even remember I made it. And I was like, what is this? I don't even remember making this thing. And then I watched some of the video. I'm like, ugh. I think I've improved a little bit. But yeah, that's... Yeah, and money does give you peace of mind. It won't make you happy. It gives you options. And oh, is that me for those tamales? I missed the tamale comment, but I do like tamale comments. I do like tamale comments. No, I do like tamales. They're not around here. They're not that cheap. So, hey, here's the hoping that the people that I'll be seeing in Florida can, they'll get their steak dinner and stuff out of the way while I'm not there. But you know me. There you go. You could just think of me sitting there going on a hunger strike and protest. And it's a little bit crappy. Yeah. You know what, but you can't, you can't force me to pay that money for some of these, things. I'll drink water. I go there and drink water. And then again, whatever my wife and kids don't eat, I'll eat, or I'll eat bread, I'll have a couple. Anyway, that's me. It's probably not right. My wife doesn't like it, but whatever. Shannon, you beat me to it, man. Dude, I don't know. We'll see if I go live next Sunday. So that'll be the last trip. Then things are back to normal. We don't have any more trips planned until Vegas for when we were young in October, which again, gonna have to buy plane tickets. It's concert tickets for this crazy expensive show that my daughter wants to go to. And, hey, I can at least give her an experience. So, yeah, you guys are great. I guess that's it. We'll wrap it up with my Pee-wee. So thanks again, Adam. Dude, enjoy China. How cool is that? That's really cool. I wouldn't mind going there someday. So everybody, thank you so much again for swinging on by, and I'll maybe see you next week. We'll see.